It's Wednesday, October 8th. Let's level up. Markets are in between earnings season and economic data, which we now don't have because of the government shutdown. However, we can infer that the jobs growth is slowing. We still know growth is accelerating from the last GDP reports, and we know inflation is moderating based on the PCE numbers and some of the other inflation data we've seen. As far as the VIX goes, they have not been able to get it up over the 1756 in particular. However, the bulls have not been able to get it back below 1623 recently. If they can do that, there's probably a test into the 1589-ish level, 50 MA, and then we'd see. But if that can't hold, we're probably going to retest the 14s. So I still think we're probably going to see higher volatility, but I don't know when that's going to come. I do think that it is on the way, and I think that there is some hedging now for end-of-year rally. I'm not making too much of the VIX not confirming the new highs just yet. It could be because of call buying or more than likely re-upping for hedges for end-of-year rally, particularly ahead of the Fed and the earnings season. And by the way, we have the Fed meeting in 20 days where they are widely expected to cut interest rates. The probability of them standing pat went up a tiny bit from like 4s to 7s, but I'm not making too much of that. We're just in the lower end of the range with that. I do think that that cut is likely now, particularly with the lower jobs report data from the ADP report, that is. As far as the ES and the NQ go, very simple. Bulls are, as of this video, over 6,800. As long as we're above 6,800, we can continue to run. If they were to do the full Monty and take it up to channel high, I don't know if they'll do it tomorrow, but if they did, that would be 68.59, and if they did it the next day, it would be 68.74. Generally, though, if we have a liquidation break, we'll probably repair today's rich close at 67.89. Shorter term, the 200 MA on the 30-minute time frame is the most important at 67.81.5 as of this video. If that can't hold, we could see a liquidation break back down to 67.56.75 and maybe a retest closer to the 67.36. As far as the Qs go, we are riding the channel high. We hit it in the overnight. If we were to hit it again in the RT8 session, we would be at 25,421 half-ish. On a liquidation break, we could retest 25,241 half to 25,275. If we were to repair today's rich close, that's 25,209. Internals today were fairly mild, the 1-to-1 and 2-to-1 variety for the NYSE and the NASDAQ. Ticks looked a little bit middling. Qs obviously were a little bit stronger, a little bit of a midday dip, but ultimately we did rally up higher. I think it's, again, that never short a dull market type of thinking. As far as SPY goes, new all-time high, we closed almost near the highs. If that were to make the run to the channel high tomorrow, that would be 679.29. I've told you before, I don't get too bearish here unless we lose 667.34, which was our breakout level. And obviously, we've been holding the 10 and 20 MA on pullbacks, so markets are acting well for a bull market. Qs, very big update today, took back all of the last few days declines, and we're getting close to the magenta channel high. If we were to do that tomorrow, it's 615.64. I think you could use today's VWAP at 609.33 as a stop. I'd get more bearish below 602.87. I had told you I thought that this like 600 to 610-ish area would be some resistance. We're a little bit above it here. We did test it for multiple days, so maybe we are ready to run here, but I do think that magenta channel high could act as a bit of resistance. Nvidia is still acting super well. I had told you that was going to be something that I'd get concerned at, if only if we broke below 183.30 to 184.47, and that has now held on a couple of tests. We are coming back up to the all-time highs here at 191.05. I've told you before I'd be surprised if this doesn't see 200, and if we were to do the 2 times of the last consolidation range, it'd be 204.87, and the 2.618 takes us up to 217.48. On a larger time frame, the bigger 2 times range is 219.64. Oracle had that dump yesterday on them not renting out enough Nvidia chips apparently. Today's bounce was okay. We didn't take out the prior day's high at 293.22, which I think could cause a squeeze. Generally, though, the bulls have been defending the 50% fib of the range. Anything over 282.26, I think, could be long. Below there, I think you need to stop out. Microsoft back at it, starting to make some higher lows and higher highs in this leg. We are hovering around the 50% fib at 523.91. I'd be a dip buyer now on the 20 MA at 514.34 if there is a pullback. Tesla, a nice move up. Told you they're introducing some new product lines. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one rally into the earnings, but I do worry if we're up too much into it, it could be a sell the news. I'd actually prefer a move lower. Money flow is bleeding out, so hopefully we do get that shake and bake setup here, because I do think the quarter is going to be good, and I do think Elon will have a lot of good things to say about Robotaxi, the new FSD, and of course the cheaper Model 3s and Ys. As far as levels go, I think you could use the 20 MA here as a key pass don't pass line at 428.5. If you're already long, today's low of day is fine. Also, you could use that as a stop at 425.23. I still like trimming here above the 429s to 430s. As of now, I don't see there being a great risk reward for up or down at the moment. Maybe favoring down a little bit if the 20 MA were to break. As far as Bitcoin goes, we are still in a look above and fail scenario. Anything below 125,200 is a little bit more incrementally bearish. Anything below 123,615 is still more incrementally bearish. We are hovering around the 78.6 of the range, so 121,474 is the must hold. Anything back up over 125,200 I think could really run. We are in a much larger up channel here, and if we were to make it up to that channel tomorrow, we won't though. It'll be 139,141. Would not surprise me to see that happen before the end of the year though, so keep that on your radar. Gold, another day, another new high. I've told you this does not end in whimpers, it ends in bangs. We are overbought, and we are seeing the volume now finally start to accelerate, which is signaling to me getting close to overbought positions. I think it could make a move up to the 400s, maybe 408s, but every day it's still one time framing. I like raising stops at least on partial positions here to low of day at 370.50. If there is a pullback, I think we could do some kind of put ratio targeting the 50 MA, currently 328 and rising. The top side of the old green channel, if you were to hit it tomorrow, we probably won't. That would be 335. So if you want to do 1/2 put ratio or 1/1/1 targeting that as a downside entry point coming from a new high, I like it, but still the bulls trade here. TLT is trying to put on a show, but it is not getting it really done. It is holding above the 88.44 to 88.69 must hold zone. Channel high, if we were to do it tomorrow, is 90.16. I do ultimately think rates are going lower, but there is a push-pull in that here. I think the risk for higher rates would be if the Supreme Court somehow came out and ruled the tariffs to be legal. That I think could cause interest rates to still go higher, because there's not the budget offsets, and the market is starting to like the money coming in, reducing the deficit, and of course the GDP getting boosted as we don't have huge imbalance between imports and exports anymore. It's still big, but it is narrowing. The dollar seems to be in a new up leg. Higher lows and higher highs. Pullbacks I think are viable now as long as the 100 MA holds, currently 98.162 and flattening. I don't think it's going to be just a straight shot up, but I do think we're in a bit of an accumulation phase, and by next summer I wouldn't be surprised to see the dollar significantly higher. Generally speaking, the markets are still up near highs. I think we're in this sort of lull between earnings season. I like booking gains, not getting too greedy, raising stops, but the bulls are still in charge. Pullbacks have been shallow, and we are still in a buy the dip mentality. Like and follow for more.